planning is winning. And I'm going to start tonight from the book of Proverbs. Let's share some wisdom as we proceed. The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 5, it says, "Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty." And the first thing that caught my attention in this verse of scripture is that in addressing prosperity, the Bible prioritizes planning over fasting, prayer, giving, or any of the other spiritual activities that we are very familiar with. Don't get me wrong. These exercises are important. Fasting, praying, giving. But when it comes to success, when it comes to prosperity, the Bible prioritizes planning. The second thing that I observed is how that the Bible also prioritizes good planning. Okay, the Bible prescribes good planning before hard work. If you ask somebody, what does it take to succeed? They may tell you, you have to work hard, you have to work smart. But the Bible's advice is that good planning followed by hard work is what leads to prosperity. So I came to this conclusion that inadequate planning is a setup for failure. And if there's anything you don't want to do in 2026, is you don't want to set yourself up for failure. So how do you avoid that? You avoid that with good planning. If there's anything you must do, it is enter that new season with a very good plan. I like the words of Alex Mackenzie when he said that action without planning is the cause of every failure. You know, the first time I heard him make this statement, or I read this statement, I was taken aback. What do you mean by action without planning? But over the years, the more I observe people, the more I see how that a lot of people fail or struggle because they don't plan adequately. So once again, the words of Alex Mackenzie, action without planning is the cause of every failure. This may be academic, but let us start from here. A plan is a deliberate, thoughtful course of action designed in advance to achieve a specific outcome. So we said, Alex Mackenzie said, action without planning. So we need to know what a plan is. It is a deliberate, it is a thoughtful course of action. One thing I love about this definition is how that it emphasizes it is a course of action that is designed in advance. So sometimes it is not that people did not plan, but they did not plan adequately. Okay, when you don't take enough time into consideration when planning, when you don't start planning early enough, you may not plan effectively to the point where you can achieve exactly what you desire. Another person I quote, a lot is Alan Lakin, when he said that planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. Again, planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. From these foregoing definitions, I want to share some very profound statements with you about planning. This is one of my observations about planning. Planning denies the future of unpleasant surprises and minimizes the impact of eventualities. You see, there is nothing you can do about the future in that sense. There are things that will happen that you did not plan for. But the discipline of planning will ensure that they don't take you by surprise. I like to say it like this. Planning is not predicting the future. Planning is preparing for it. Okay? Planning is not predicting the future, but preparing for it. Another profound statement I want to share with you is this. Planning sharpens your vision. This is what I have found out. You will see challenges long before they emerge, and you will solve problems long before they crystallize, if only you plan. The discipline of planning helps you to see better. It helps you to recognize opportunities. It also helps you to recognize challenges long before the challenges emerge, long before they crystallize. So there are certain people, which is the next statement I'm going to make. There are certain people who are unfazed by challenges, who seemingly face adversity and, they stand their ground. A lot of times it is because they are strong at planning. They are effective in their planning. Another profound statement is this: good planning improves your reflexes. Good planning improves your reflexes. In challenging moments, you will retain your presence of mind. You will do the right things. You will say the right things even when others are flustered, when they are losing their cool, simply because you have planned well. Don't forget what I told you. Planning sharpens your vision. It allows you to see opportunities. It allows you to recognize problems long before the problems crystallize or before they emerge. Planning prepares or improves your reflexes. When challenges come, you know how to respond, and to respond well, because you have planned well. Let me say this one finally. Planning does not prevent or protect you from emergencies or unexpected events. It prepares and positions you to overcome them. Okay? Planning does not protect or prevent you from emergencies. Challenges will come. Adversity will come. But planning prepares and positions you to overcome challenges. And as we push it forward tonight, I want to show you how that a good plan consists of 4 essentials. A good plan consists of 4 essentials, and I want to show you those 4 things. When you say, I have a plan, these 4 elements must be present. The first one is a desired outcome. The second one is design. The third is a deadline. And the fourth is a document. And I'm going to take my time to explain each and every one of them to you right now. The first one is what? Desired outcome, or what we call goals. Your desired outcome is a concise, precise description of what you want to achieve. The second one is design. When I say design, I mean practical steps you intend to take to achieve your goals. The third element is deadline, which is when you intend to achieve your goals. The fourth is document. That is when your goals, your processes and your deadlines are captured sequentially in a document. That is when you have a plan. So when you say, I have a plan for the new year, you have 4 things in place. Look at them one more time. You have a defined desired outcome. You have design, that is practical steps you intend to take to achieve your goals. You have deadline, that is the time when you intend to achieve your goal. And then you have a document where you have placed what? Your goals, your design, your deadline, on a timeline. You would notice each of those words start with the letter D. It's intentional so that you can remember them, Desired outcome, design, deadline, document. I have a desired outcome. I have a design, that is, I have practical steps I intend to take to achieve, my objective. Then I have deadlines, or I have a deadline when I intend to achieve it. And then I have a document. Step 1, 2, 3, or elements 1, 2, 3, is captured in element 4. Listen to this. I've said this severally. If it is not documented, it is not a plan. This is important. If it is not documented, it is not a plan. This is the reason why. It is because writing clarifies thinking. Writing clarifies thinking. It was Lee Iacocca who said that writing is the first step towards turning a dream to reality, okay? The first step to turning your dreams to reality is that you write them down, because writing clarifies thinking. Writing brings ideas to life. Have you found out that sometimes you don't need anybody to tell you what is wrong in your plan or what is wrong in your objective or your desire? Once you start documenting it, in my opinion, writing is like the first stage, okay, of truly birthing an idea. Yes, you conceive it first in your mind, but when you can truly say, look, this is real, this is going to happen, this is going to come to pass, it is that moment when you write it down. Now, I want to address an issue that's very important. I have come to observe that so many people don't like to plan. And I said to myself, why is it that people don't like to plan? Okay, I want to share 4 or perhaps 5 observations with you why people don't like to plan. And for each of my observations, I'm going to show you how to break the hold of that observation, of that condition in your life. Why is it that people don't like to plan? The first reason is mental laziness. Mental laziness. Listen, planning requires a lot of thinking, and critical thinking is hard work. So a lot of people don't like to plan because a lot of people don't like to think for a very long time, because critical thinking is a lot of hard work. So how do I break the hold of mental laziness? I have some suggestions for you tonight. This is the first thing I want you to do. Define your objective. That's the starting point. Define your objective. What do I intend to achieve? You want to break the hold of mental laziness. Just capture it first. What do I want to achieve? For example, define your lifetime goals or your 20-year goals. All right, this is what I want to achieve with the rest of my life. This is what I want to achieve in the next 30 years. It's important that you take the longest period of time into consideration. Then you take that one goal, or those, that's your lifetime goals. I encourage people to have lifetime goals, but not more than about 5 of them, really. Then you now break them down into smaller bits. Okay, I would recommend that to break them into phases. So you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Okay, whichever way you want to have it. So you have taken a very massive goal, then you break it down into small bits. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. Then leave every other thing and pick just phase 1. Perhaps phase 1 is something you want to achieve in the next 2 years. All right, plan adequately for phase 1. Put it aside, document it. Then take the next 3 months of your life and now plan for the next 3 months in detail. Okay, that's what I recommend. You want to break the hold of mental laziness. Okay, follow this pattern. Lifetime goal, or a goal for 20 years or for 30 years. Break that one goal into phases. Take the first phase, break it down, and then ask yourself, what am I supposed to do in the next 3 months? Now, every other thing, document, put them aside, but now put your focus only on the next 3 months. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do, okay, to break the hold of mental laziness is don't do all your planning at once. Okay, block out a few days, all right, strictly for planning. For example, I work with a team, all right, and myself and my team now for about almost 2 months have been planning together. Okay, we started gradually. We've been planning together now for the next 1 year. Okay, I have an idea of what I want to do beyond the next 1 year, but now our focus is on the next 1 year, and we have been planning for almost 2 months. We meet once every week. So the reason why a lot of people get overwhelmed with planning is because they want to do a lot of planning at once. No, don't do that. Break it down. All right. But make sure that at every step of the way you are documenting your plan. But break it down. You can take the next 2 weeks. All right. Today is the 17th of December, 2025. You can decide, you know what? I'm going to use the next 2 weeks to plan 2026. I'm going to spend 1 hour every day or 2 hours every day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening to work on my plan for the next 1 year, okay, or for the next quarter. And then just 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, just go back to the document, okay, continue from where you stop, review everything you have done, and then just continue. Just build on it, okay, leave it till the next day, come back, review, and build on it. And you see, if you will do that for 2 weeks, by the end of 2 weeks, you will have a good plan. The other observation I've made, the reason why many people don't plan is fear of failure. The fear of failure. This is what I have observed, that the more people have failed, the more averse they become to planning. This is what they say to themselves. What's the reason for planning? When the last one I planned did not work. I have failed severally. So there's no point planning. You will hear people say stuff like, whatever will be, will be. Okay? It is failure. It is the fear of failure, the fear of rejection that makes people come to such conclusions. So if you find yourself in that situation, maybe you have experienced failure upon failure. You may be listening to me right now, and 2025 for you was not really fantastic because you did not hit your targets, you did not hit your goals. Okay? So you are looking at 2026 and you are weary. What should you do? First, I'm going to ask you to study failure and understand how critical failure is to success. Okay? I know I've said this before 2 weeks ago, but it's important that we emphasize this. Understand how that failure is a critical step on the journey of success. The moment you understand what failure is, it is an event, not a person. Okay? It is the project that failed, not you. All right? Then you come up with a plan, or you come up with a strategy for dealing with failure. I'm going to make one suggestion tonight, okay? And it is that you treat your goals as experiments, okay? The difference between an experiment and a mission is an experiment is a quest for learning and discovery. So if it's a quest for learning and discovery, whatever happens is a discovery. Do you understand? There's that famous statement of how Thomas Edison tried, to discover or to create the incandescent bulb. And I mean, there are so many figures they've thrown out there. You hear people say 1,000 times, some people say 10,000 times. And see, even if it is 100 times, it's a lot of failure. But then what did he say? He said, I did not fail 10,000 times. I found 10 times on ways not to make the incandescent bulb. There are so many inventions that people discovered while they were trying to create something else. And that's what happens to you when you treat your goals as experiments. Be a student, don't be an expert. Tell yourself, I want to see what happens, not I know what happens. Don't forget, planning is not predicting the future. Planning is preparing for it. So another reason why a lot of people don't plan is because of the fear of failure. I made another observation why people don't like to plan. It is what I call activity trap. Okay? The activity trap. There are people who prioritize hustle over strategy. They consider planning a waste of valuable time. Okay? And in this part of the world, we like to be busy. The person that is spinning his wheels is the one that comes across to people as working very hard. But you need to understand that your reputation for hard work is not as important as your results. So if your hard work is not producing desired results, then you may want to what? You may want to slow down. This is my advice for that person who is stuck or who is struggling with the activity trap. Realize that thinking is working. Okay? Thinking is working. So just before you try to pride yourself with hustle, I wake up very early, I close very late, remember that thinking is working. In other words, an integral part of working is thinking. So if all you do is think and not do anything, you have already worked. If all you are doing right now is thinking, you are working. And maybe I should add this to it. The thinker is always the boss. This is important. The thinker is always the boss. Somebody said it this way, that the guy who is a hard worker knows how to do the work. He said, but the thinker who is the boss is the one who knows what to do. And as long as the person who knows what to do has not spoken, the person who knows how to work has nothing to do. So the thinker is always boss. Prioritize thinking over doing. Let's read what the Bible has to say. In Proverbs chapter 19, verse 2, the easy to read version says, being excited about something is not enough. You must also know what you are doing. Don't rush into something, or you might do it wrong. Does that not echo the words of Alex Mackenzie when he said that action without planning is the cause of every failure? Okay, so let's take out time to plan. Like I said, thinking is working. So don't just place value on the things you are doing. Also place value on your thinking process and the time you invest in thinking. In my book, The Checklist, one of the 5 essential elements of achievement is quality of thought. Quality of thought. You know, the same way the quality of seed determines the quality of harvest is the same way the quality of thoughts involved in any project determines the quality of the results. So let's prioritize thinking over doing. I made another observation. Why people don't like to plan. This one I call it firefighting. Firefighting. Okay, these are people who spend all their time dealing with immediate, urgent problems. Okay, this is what I call the fires. They are always putting out fires rather than making progress by working on their goals. Okay, they are overwhelmed, they are pressured with what is in front of them. I don't know the reason, and honestly speaking, some of these, urgent problems are legitimate. Okay, and please, you need to understand this. They are legitimate. But this is what happens. Operational thinking suppresses visionary thinking. Okay? It is very, very challenging to work on the future whilst being overwhelmed by current realities. So if I find myself in that situation, I have a lot to do. My bills are due. I don't know how to pay them. I have deadlines at work. I don't know how to meet them. Or I'm a contractor, a service provider, and I have deadlines, impossible deadlines to meet. I've collected money. I've not delivered the jobs. Listen. Stop firefighting. How do you do it? Force a margin into your schedule. Call a timeout. Okay? Call a timeout. Just back off. Face the truth. The only way out of a vicious cycle is a radical strategic response. Let me say that again. The only way out of a vicious cycle is a radical strategic response. So you need to just take a break. It's amazing. The world will not stop spinning. Everything will not come crashing down. Take 1 hour a day. Take 1 day a week. And just pretend as if you don't have deadlines. You don't have anything. And try to pre-play the future. Allow your brain to breathe. And stop firefighting. Okay, stop firefighting. Sometimes you may need to let some things go, let some people go, let some opportunities go, allow some failures to happen. In as much as I am not, a political person, all right, I don't take sides with any political party. See, but what I'm describing is similar to what the Nigerian president did, on his first day, all right, as president. He just said, you know what? Subsidy is over. Okay, it's a timeout. Look, whatever is going to happen, let it happen. And honestly speaking, people felt like, look, everything was going to crash. Everything was going to come crumbling down. But look at it. We are still here. We are still alive. And the Nigerian economy is recovering gradually. Yes, things are far from the way that we want them to be. But honestly, things are also far from the way they used to be. And that's what happens when you just face some consequences. Okay, cut your losses. Let some things go. Okay, stop defending your reputation. If you have done bad, stop covering evil with evil. Stop lying. And just stop putting out fires. Stop camouflaging and just call a timeout. And tell yourself the truth. The only way out of a vicious cycle is a radical, strategic response. This is what I am saying. If you keep doing the same thing, you will only repeat your experience. So you need to do something different. And you would not be able to conceive it if you don't pause long enough for intelligence to catch up with you, for peace to catch up with you, for revelation to catch up with you, for better ideas to catch up with you. No matter how difficult your schedule is right now, between now and the beginning of the new year, you must find time to rest. You must call it time out. This is important. The last observation I want to share with you, and then we move on from there tonight. Why people don't plan is ignorance. Ignorance. Some people don't just know how to plan. Okay? And please listen to me, understand what I'm trying to say. It is not because they are lazy or careless. It is because they have never been taught how to plan effectively. And there's something I noticed about, adults. The moment we cross 20, there's this assumption that we know what we are doing. And the truth of the matter is, many of us, whatever it is we're doing right now, we are doing for the first time. You've never been an adult before. You've never been an employee before. You've never been a parent before. Okay? You've never been a postgraduate student before. You've never been an immigrant before. It is your first time doing a lot of what you're doing as an adult. You have never been married before. And even when it comes to marriage, that you have done it severally does not mean you know what you're doing. As a matter of fact, that you have done it severally may be that you have a problem learning. Okay? So the truth is, get off your high horse and tell yourself, I don't know how to do this thing. I must learn how to do it. Some other people confuse planning with wishful thinking or with vague, intentions. Some even confuse planning, with spiritual optimism without structure. Some people think if I am believing God for it, there is no need for me to plan. It is God that is going to do it. No. Planning is an expression of faith. How you know a person who truly is believing God or expecting something from God is that they are going to prepare for it. They are going to get ready for it. It's important. The Bible talks about new wine must be poured into new wineskins. Okay? New wine will not be poured into old wineskins. So if I'm expecting new wine from God, I'm supposed to what? Get ready my new wineskin. That's my preparation of, what I want God to receive. And the quality of my preparation may actually indicate the quality of my expectation. So don't confuse planning with spirituality. Don't think because I am believing God, God has done it, so I don't need to plan. No. You need to plan. Even the God that we serve is a planner. And I say jokingly to people, when you go to the end of the Bible, you see the book of Revelations, that is God's documented plan for the future. Okay? God plans. When you go to the Old Testament, right from the time of Moses, God had been talking about a savior. And every prophet from Moses to Malachi said something or pointed in the direction of the Christ. Because the God you serve is a planner. Okay? The God you serve is a planner. So learn how to plan if you don't know how to plan. Do what you know if you have learned how to plan. And as we begin to round up tonight, I want to share quickly with you my first step approach to devising a good plan. So take it with as a suggestion, compare it with yours, find out what works best for you, but by all means, go into that new year with a good plan. So when I'm planning anything, this is the first thing I do, and this is what I recommend that you do. Number one, define your desired outcome. Define your desired outcome. This is what I have found out, that the moment you define what you want to achieve, how to achieve it, who to achieve it with, where to go or where to achieve it, when to achieve it. All of these things become relatively straightforward, or more straightforward to define. So, what do you want to achieve? Define your desired outcome. And when you are defining your desired outcome, describe it in detail. And I'm going to be very practical now. Describe it in detail. For example, somebody's desired outcome by December 2026 may be to move to a better accommodation. So that's somebody's desired outcome, to move to a better accommodation by December 2026. All right. So what do? In defining your desired outcome, you define the kind of accommodation that you want, and then you follow up, with details. I'll give you an example. What is your budget? That is for rent, renovation, and relocation. What's your budget? Where do you want to live? What plot of town do you want to live? How many rooms do you need? Okay? How many rooms do you need? What amenities do you desire in your home? You have to be, specific. You have to be detailed. Okay? In my life, as an adult, I have had to move house, I think about 2 times. And before each of those movements, I described in detail what I wanted. Okay? For example, when I was going to move, I used to stay on one side of town and then I moved to the other side of town. When I was going to move, the primary reason was because I wanted to be closer to work. And then I said to myself, I want a house in a very secured estate where from the front of my house to my office, the road is tarred. Okay, because where I was staying before, my cars suffered a little bit because of bad roads. And I said, look, I don't want bad roads anymore. And I was very specific. The number of rooms, that we wanted. How we wanted the environment to be. And it was on that basis that we started searching. We also had a budget. Of course, like I said, life will not unfold according to your plan. But, planning prepares you. Planning prepares you. So, for example, there was a particular place that I was going to pay for. We had finalized all the, details of the arrangement and all of that until we just found just one thing that we needed to, resolve. And we couldn't resolve it. The owner of the house was going back and forth and all of that. And somewhere along the line, the agent got fed up and said, you know what? Let me show you another place. Guess what? The place it took me to now was more of what I wanted, than what I was negotiating for. And the moment I saw that place, it didn't take me long. The moment I said, this is the place. That same day, I went back home, brought my wife and my kids. We looked at the place. They all agreed with me. This is the place. And I think in the space of about a week or so, we secured the deal. Because before we started looking, we were clear. Let me give you another example of what it means to be clear, to define your desired outcome. It's the story of blind Bartimaeus. Jesus asked Bartimaeus, what do you want me to do for you? The guy did not beat around the bush. He spoke just 5 simple words. 5 simple words. Rabbi, I want to see. Rabbi, I want to see. Let me throw the same question to you now. You wake up first thing tomorrow morning, you see Jesus standing in your room, and he asks you, what do you want me to do for you? Somebody will say stuff like, I will faint first. See, by the time you recover from fainting, you may have missed your opportunity. You have to be clear. You may not have the power to bring it to pass, but you must be clear about what you want. And the moment you know what you want, plan it in detail or describe it in detail. How much is it going for? Where is it sold? Who is selling it? What will it take for them to move it from there to your house? I do a lot of window shopping. When I am at this stage of, deciding exactly what I want. I like this profound statement. It was the words of Dr. Paul Powell. He said that nothing becomes dynamic until it is specific. Nothing becomes dynamic until it is specific. In other words, there are possibilities, but you will not realize your possibilities until you are clear about exactly what you want. So that's step 1, in planning for me. This is the second thing I do. Step number 2, identify the parts that could lead you there. Identify the paths that could lead you there. I'm sure you have heard the statement that says there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, some people think that sounds very cruel to cats. So some people will say there's more than one way to boil an egg. Okay, right here in Africa, we say it in another way. The Yorubas especially, they say many roads lead to the market. All of these statements are saying exactly the same thing. That there are so many ways, okay, unlimited ways of achieving your objective. And I'm saying there can be 10 people whose goal in 2026 is to get a postgraduate degree. And the 10 of them will do 10 different things and they will achieve their objective. So as stage number 2, permit yourself to dream freely. Once you want to identify the paths that could lead you to your desired outcome, permit yourself to dream freely. This is what I'm going to say to you. Don't let money stop you. This is the mistake a lot of people make when they're trying to plan. The moment they can't afford it, they stop it there. Okay? Figure out how much it will cost, but don't struggle with how you are going to get the money. Just document, I could do it this way, I could do it this way, I could do it this way, I could do it that way. I always encourage people to come up with about 5 possible ways to achieve their dreams. Okay? Come up with at least about 5 ways. Don't forget that your first idea is not necessarily your best idea. But as you come up with multiple options, document each and every one of them. Step 2 is important. At step 2, you create options. I could go this way, I could go that way, I could do it this way, I could do it that way. All right? Come up with several options, a minimum of 5 ways of solving that problem. Free your mind. It's important at step 2. Then at step 3, choose the best path. Okay? Step 3, choose the best path. Now, how do I know the best path? Be decisive. Okay? Be decisive. Choose your solution. Call a meeting of your collaborators if you have people you are working with, okay, your friends, your loved ones, your co-workers, whoever is a stakeholder in your affair, but please don't confuse empathy with intelligence. Whoever you are going to ask to advise you must be somebody who is intelligent and competent in the area that you want to make a decision about, not just somebody that cares about you. So you present your choice to your team or to your collaborators so that they can offer you the best of advice. You know, the Bible says in Proverbs 15 and verse 22 that plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. But like I said, you want to ask intelligent advisors, competent advisors to offer you, their counsel. But let me also warn you, an advisor is not a commander. So if things don't work, it's not their fault. And if you decide to reject their advice, please do so confidently but politely. It's your life, not theirs. So you listen to advice, but you are the one who is going to make a choice. Then I would ask you at this stage also, for people of faith, ask God to guide your choice. Okay? Ask God to guide your choice. Now watch this. Praying before step 2 is abdicating responsibility. I'm going to share a verse of scripture with you, profound verse of scripture. I'll read it to you because of time. Okay, Psalms 25 and verse 12, New Living Translation of the Bible says, "Who are those who fear the Lord? He will show them the path they should choose." Who are those who fear the Lord? Watch this. He will show them the path they should choose. What does that mean? It means at the point where he is showing them, in front of them, there are options. So if you are the kind of person who does no thinking and you just want God to do everything for you, you will just notice that most of the time he is silent. Okay? He is silent. And it is because he gave you a brain. He gave you imagination. And God is pleased when we use the resources he has given us. And this is what I'm saying. If you don't think and you just pray, you may not get the best of answers. That's the truth. You may not get the best of answers. The effective thing to do is to think first. Identify possible paths. speak with your counselors. And then just before you choose, you can now say, God, guide my choice. At the end of the day, he still will not tell you exactly what to do. He will guide your choice. He will guide your choice. But this is important. At step 3, you must have clarity. Okay? At step 3, you must have clarity. How you have gotten to clarity? Step 3 is you must be able to say, to achieve X, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, these steps, okay, that you have itemized, that you are going to take to achieve X, which is your objective, it is these steps that we call goals. And then the fourth thing you are going to do is put your goals on a clear timeline. Now, this is important, to put your goals on a clear timeline. So what are you going to do? You take your goal, break it into small sequential steps. So don't forget, before now, we said you to achieve X, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what you now do. You take step 1 and you break it further down into smaller sequential steps. So you may end up with 1A, 1B, 1C, then 2A, 2B, 2C, and then on and on and on. All right? Then the next thing is you attach deadlines to each step. Take all the steps and all the deadlines and put them in a document where we can see the steps with their deadlines sequentially. It is at that point that you have a plan. As a matter of fact, your steps must be as such. You arrange them as such that when you conclude one step, it positions you to attempt the next one. So you see, these steps now become like the rungs of your ladder of success. That is what it means to plan. And as we round up tonight, I want to show you a sample document, okay, what your plan will look like. It's blank, okay, but this is what it should look like. So for me, I've titled this my next big thing. Whatever the project is you want to achieve, you can use Microsoft Excel, you can use Google Sheets to achieve this. So on the left column, you can see your steps, 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B. There's no hard and fast rule. You may use 1, 2, 3, whichever one you want to use. You may not even want to use numbers at all. You can just put A, B, C, D, but let the steps be sequential, that when you take one, it leads you to the next one. So you come into the first column and you define your desired outcome. That is what you intend to achieve. The next column is your deadline, when you intend to achieve it. The next is you design your process, how you intend to achieve it. And then in the updates box, from time to time, you continue to document things as you take steps, as you are working towards your goal, you put the updates there. And the moment you hit your goal by your deadline, you come back there and you put in that update column, done or executed. Then you move to the next one, and you move to the next one, and you move to the next one. If as you move from, row to row, something should happen, life happens, there's a challenge, there's an eventuality, okay, you pause, deal with that problem, and then you come back to your document. Where did I stop? And then you just continue from where you stopped. That is how to have a document that you live out from. There's still a lot to share, but we are out of time. So allow me to stop here tonight. Next week, Wednesday, our final session in Get Ready With Me will be focused on execution, the discipline of getting things done.